Hello, this is Father Michael Nasser coming to you from St. Nicholas Orthodox Church here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with this week's midweek reflection. And this week I am reflecting on, no, not rubber bands, but being stretched. So why am I thinking about being stretched? This last Sunday I gave the longest sermon I've ever given. Yeah, 26 minutes. Oh! Now, in my defense, I did not intend it to go that long. I knew it would be longer because I was setting up a sermon series, so I had to both set up the 4-part series and preach the first part all in one session, which I know I could have done over 2 Sundays. But anyway, I knew it was going to be long. I knew I was going to stretch my parishioners, and I could feel the stretching probably around minute 18 or 19. And I even said, I know this is going long, but hang in there with me. I could feel it. I could feel it. Why? The tension was rising, not just because of the content. That's what it should have been rising from. But it was the length. And I get it. We are not used to it. And the things that we're not used to don't stretch us. And then when we are stretched, it's hard. But I want you to think about this. Here's my handy-dandy rubber band. And as I'm holding it, not being stretched, it's really not all that useful. What's it good for? It's good for when it's stretched. Now it's got tension, it's got force, it'll hold things together. That's what makes it useful. And you and I are no different. God gave us all kinds of abilities, but they're not the abilities that are used very well when we just sort of let them sit. When we use them, when we stretch ourselves, not beyond our capacity, but within our capacity. I could stretch us so far that it would break. That's not a good thing. But stretching it closer to the capacity than leaving it like this is a good thing. But it doesn't feel good. It is an effort. It's uncomfortable. It is not relaxing. It is everything that we sometimes call bad because it's hard. We've talked about that before. But if you think about it, when we are stretched, we are allowing God to use us and the capabilities He's given us and the skills that even we've, with our freedom that He's given us, developed into a greater strength and a greater ability to use, hopefully, for what He has put us here to do. And if we don't stretch ourselves, we're really not all that useful. So I want you to think about an area that you are being stretched in your life right now. Maybe it's in what's being asked of you by your family or in key relationships. And maybe it's something at work or maybe in some other area of your life. Specifically, I'd like you to focus on how God could be stretching you spiritually. How you're being called to fast more, to pray more, to attend more services, and to use all that strength we get from God to love people more. And I want to encourage all of us to see that stretching not as a bad thing, but as a good thing. I'm sure this rubber band, if it had feelings, wouldn't feel good doing this. But once it was done, I'd say, well, I'm glad I was useful. I'm glad I was able to use my abilities that God gave me. You and I are the same way. It will feel good. We will be satisfied. In fact, I would say so much of our modern anxiety and depression, all that stuff, is from the fact that we just don't like going past this. And when we do, especially for something God has called us to, it may be hard, but then we lean into and we experience who God made us to be. And that is a wonderful way of being the opposite of anxious, having hope and security. Opposite of depression, we're energized. So I hope we'll think about how God is perhaps trying to stretch us. He never does it. He'll invite us to. But because He gives us freedom, He'll always let us decide, are we going to allow Him to stretch us? So whether your priest is preaching a longer sermon than he normally does and you feel really stretched, or whatever other way God is trying to stretch you, I hope that you will lean into that, look to Him for your strength, for your comfort, for your peace, and knowing that He's with us as He's stretching us to make us who He made us to be. So I hope you found this helpful. If so, please share it with your friends. You can share it on social media. You can even, if you want, share it via email. All you got to go is YouTube, click share. You'll see a copy link. You can email it to people. You can even write it down and put it in a snail mail. But however you share it, if you found it helpful, you think it would be helpful for someone else, please go ahead and share it. And God willing, we'll see you in next week's video.